Welcome back to YouTube and Jim Traficant. Evidently you clicked onto YouTube and you printed and typed in Jim Traficant channel. Tell your neighbors. Tell your neighbors and listen to what I have to say or you're going to get a rash somewhere on your body. So I'm not playing. I want to talk about an issue that's very important. I think has been minimized a lot, and it's been camouflaged by a lot of other political machinations around the country. It's a very simple issue. It's called jobs. You know, it's almost an endangered species, jobs. You have one job and you have 100 people trying to fill it. And what a real confusing state we have. Imagine this, if you're on unemployment so long that finally you're cut off from unemployment benefits, you are taken off the government list of being unemployed as if you got a job. You hear what I just said? Congratulations, the government says, you're now off the unemployment list, even though you're unemployed. Many of you have a part-time job and you don't even want to report that because with a little bit of unemployment compensation you get, that'll be cut drastically. So as a result, who pays for it? The working people, those who are still working. And their jobs are endangered. Look at the case up in Wisconsin. Harley Davidson, and I have an old Harley, an old trike. Harley Davidson said we can't make it. We want concessions, and if we don't get them, we're going to leave the state of Wisconsin. The union accepted it because they knew the company wasn't kidding. But the truth is, Harley Davidson's having a rough time making it, aren't they? With all that we've talked about before now, all these burdensome compliances with the tax code rules and regulations. The American worker now is actually the victim of these national policies. And the tragedy is many of American institutions continue to support this massive burden, thinking that's the only way we're going to have something, is to make sure we impose these disciplines, processes on the American company. You know, I've often said this, folks, and I'm the son of a truck driver. Now, they call me the son of a lot more than that. My dad told me this. Now, once made it in a speech in the House floor, and it made national news. I said, my dad told me he never worked for a poor guy. And I was after the Democrats at that point because they're always going after the wealthy. We've never been wealthy, very poor from Samuel Street. But folks, if wealthy people don't invest their money, no one works. And you keep jumping on these so-called wealthy people. And they're not only going to take their jobs out of the country, they're going to take their money and bank account out of the country. Where are you going to find a job if no one invests, no one takes a risk? Why take a risk? Why take a risk in America? Come on. All companies will take a risk if the government gives them the money. Oh, there's a lot of jobs. Government jobs. The government hires more people than factories. There are more government workers than factory workers in the United States of America, folks. You know why? They pay better. And those companies keep losing and losing jobs and closing and going overseas. So it's artificial, isn't it? Like when the government told us about those 500,000 new hires. 440,000 were census workers for the government. Come on now. Stimulus? There's another word that goes with stimulus. It's called response. For every stimulus, there is an appropriate and equal response. Stimulus, pour money into the economy. The hope for response, economic growth. The short blurb of economic growth is artificial, cannot be sustained. And that growth is coming from borrowing more money with a $14 trillion national debt we can never service. We're literally owned by international bankers, China, and other countries buying those T-bills. For what? Because we've got stupid policies. Actually, the American people need liberated. We talk about independence and freedom. Where's the freedom and independence? Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. If they have a job, glad to have it, don't want to get their employer mad, and hope their employer survives. But they'll give up that job if they get a government job. And Uncle Sam is just going to go ahead and hire people. He's going to give you all the stimulus you want right around election time. What they're doing is just mortgaging the future. And Humpty Dumpty's just sitting up there. See, Humpty Dumpty with the red, white, and blue is still sitting. The Humpty Dumpty with the sickle, he's already toppled. Back then, there were supposedly two superpowers. Folks, we're still a superpower. We're not the only power. And right now, I predict that China will, within time, overtake us. And with that, I'd like to just say this. I don't quote many political figures. Jefferson a few times, who said, beware of the appointment of federal judges for lifetime terms because they take the Constitution and mold it like clay in your hands. How true he was. We haven't even wised up on that one. The other one was a man named Napoleon Bonaparte. And listen what he said so many, many years ago. He said, let China sleep. For if China ever awakens, the earth shall tremble. Old Boney is right on target. We now have a dragon eating our assets, and I said that right in the House floor. Russia's a fly on our face. China's a dragon eating our assets, and it's right there. Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could see that coming. We must take this powerful regulatory mechanism off everybody. Give companies an opportunity to make a buck. They're making a buck, they'll hire people. If they're making more than a couple bucks, they'll hire more people. The old-fashioned way. See, it's called free enterprise. But the truth of the matter is, folks, we have no free enterprise system in America any longer. It's called quasi-socialism. We redistribute more wealth than any other country in world history ever did. So if that's what socialism is, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Stone cold duck. I'll have one more session here with you because I'm fed up. I'm getting worked up just talking about these things. Click onto YouTube, type in Jim Traficant channel, and you'll catch me next time. See you then.